What is up guys, Karma Medic here and welcome back to another dose. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, hi, my name is Nasser and I'm a third year medical student studying at King's College London. I make all kinds of videos about medical school, but I also make videos on the technology that allows me to do everything that I do in my day-to-day life. So today I'm going to be going through all of the apps on my iPhone that help increase my productivity and my efficiency on a daily basis. So let's just jump right into it. So I'm going to split this video into 6 different categories: productivity and efficiency, studying, meal planning and exercise, photo editing apps, apps related to medicine, and then apps that have absolutely changed my life and added a lot of value to my time. Speaking about apps that have changed my life, let's talk about audiobooks and then also Blinkist, which is the sponsor of today's video, but we'll get into that app in just a little bit. So starting off with audiobooks, honestly, when I was a kid, I just used to hate reading. I didn't like the idea of sitting in one place and dedicating so much time to looking at one piece of paper or one inanimate object. I always felt like it didn't stimulate me enough, and I just always gravitated more towards video and playing games and things like that. So when I was a kid, I really didn't read that much, but then when I moved to the UK and I had quite a big commute from my house to school and from my house to the hospitals where I go on clinical placement, I needed something useful to do in that time. I didn't want it to be dead, wasted time. And so this is where audiobooks came into my life, and they've absolutely changed the way that I think about my dead time on my commute. Listening to audiobooks has become something that is so enjoyable for me. I now feel like I'm sort of going on this journey with the author, and I have someone with me who's talking to me, so it makes the idea and the experience of reading a book so much better for me. And since I started listening to audiobooks, I've probably listened to more audiobooks than I've read books in my entire life. Some of my favorites before I started medical school was When Breath Becomes Air and What Doctors Feel, and then Into Thin Air. I've actually finished this book, not sure why. Not sure why it says 1% completion. I've actually listened to the whole book. I would highly recommend it. I'm forever grateful to Aaron, who actually recommended me to start listening to audiobooks. He's a fantastic photographer who takes a lot of the photos that you see over on my Instagram page, which I'll link here as well. You guys can follow him on his Instagram down in the description. Now Blinkist is another one of those life-changing apps for me. It's completely changed how I think about efficiency and time in regards to reading books. When I got into the whole realm of listening to audiobooks, I found that there were so many good books out there that I wanted to read, and I just simply didn't have enough time. And this is where Blinkist was perfect for me, especially with the self-help or motivation style books. I've always wanted to read those because I know that they're going to have these little golden nuggets of information, but I also know that those books are like 70%, 80% just fluff and motivational speeches. So the reason Blinkist is amazing is because it takes entire nonfiction books and condenses them down into 5 to 15 minute reads. I use Blinkist on the train and on the bus on my commutes, and it really helps keep me entertained during those times where I'd otherwise be really bored. Some of my favorite reads so far have been Atomic Habits by James Clear. Shout out to Ali Abdal for that book recommendation. Some other books that I've really enjoyed getting the condensed notes from is The Fine Art of Small Talk by Deborah Fine. And then there's all these other books that I've downloaded that I haven't had a chance to look at yet, and I'm looking forward to reading them in the future. If you're interested in Blinkist at all and want to try it out for yourself, the first 100 people to go to this link that will also be down in the description will get 1 week of unlimited access to the app, and then a 25% off the full membership if and when you decide to get it. The trial is completely free and you can cancel at any time. I honestly recommend trying out the app. It's really changed my life. Okay, moving on to apps that I would classify as productivity or efficiency apps. The first one that I definitely want to mention is TickTick. So TickTick is a to-do list tracker type of thing that helps me organize all the tasks that I need to do in a day or over a week. It's basically replaced my homework diary from high school or my little notebook or diary that I used to use in order to keep track of everything. You simply click add over here and you can say, I don't know, buy bananas at the grocery store, and then afterwards you can take that little thing and you can organize it into different areas. So for example, I have KCL Med School tasks, I also have YouTube tasks, and I have life and things like that. You can basically place different to-do tasks in different categories, and I've just found it very helpful. It's really simple, it's clean, it's elegant, and it's just helped me keep track of anything. I would highly recommend this app. So the next thing I want to talk about is my calendar of choice. Personally, I use Google Calendar. Of course, you can use any calendar you want. With medical school and all the lectures and tutorials that we have, I find it necessary to write down absolutely everything that I need to do on a calendar. Even if my friends want to meet up for an hour on a Thursday, or I have a doctor's appointment on the weekend or whatever, I make sure I write it down in my calendar and I set a little alarm, because there's just so much going on that without the these constant reminders, I would definitely forget. So Google Calendar is another thing that I use to make sure that I'm always on time, that I make sure I remember all my different deadlines and things like that. All right, the next app that I use is the one that I use to take notes. Now for this, I do use the default Apple Notes app. I am looking for a better one, so if you guys do have note-taking app recommendations, please do leave them in a comment down below. I use these notes to basically track anything that I want to write down that isn't a to-do list or a task that I would put in TickTick. So everything over here is a lot bigger, it's a lot longer, and it needs more space. You know, I have notes for medical school about history taking. I really put everything in here, you know, important documents, important numbers for passwords and things like that. I put my movie recommendations, my book recommendations, restaurant recommendations, etc. in here as well. It's just basically anywhere where I feel like I would want to write down something that isn't a quick, simple to do. Now, the next app that I want to talk about is about money management, and this app is called Monzo. It's an online electronic bank that you can put your money in, and basically it automatically categorizes all of your spending into different categories so that you can track your spending and track your budgets over time. So if I go to my summary over here, I can see how much I've spent this month and how much I have left to spend this month. And I can also see how much I've spent on transport, how much on shopping, how much on entertainment, eating out, groceries, etc. And this really helps me keep track of where my money is going every month. And that way I can see if I'm spending too much money on eating out, for example, or travel, I can help bring that down next month. It's just a really good way to keep track and organize your money. Of course, you can also send quick payments to all of your friends very, very easily. It's instant. It's honestly amazing. You can split bills with this app. You can also put money into different pots or accounts so that you can have your main bank account, and then you can have, for example, a holiday stash where you put money in order to save up for a holiday. And those pots of money are not in your main bank account so that you can keep them aside and not spend them. It's a really good app. I would highly recommend it for money management, money budgeting, etc. Yeah, if you're a uni student, this is basically essential. Okay, now the last productivity app that I want to talk about is my music listening app of choice. For me, that's definitely Spotify. If you're interested in what kind of music I listen to, 90 to 95% of the time, it's going to be hip hop, rap, R&B, people like Travis Scott, Mac Miller, Eminem, both old school and new school. And I don't really listen to music while studying. I only do if I'm doing something that doesn't really involve a lot of thinking or doesn't involve any words, because otherwise when I'm listening to the music, I just constantly want to rap and sing along to the song, and I can never get any work done. If I am listening to music while studying, it is almost definitely hip hop jazz instrumentals. I just go on YouTube and I search hip hop jazz instrumentals and I click on one of the videos, and that's what I listen to while studying. Okay, moving on to apps for the purposes of studying. My note-taking app of choice is definitely Notability. Now, Notability I don't really use on my phone. I use it on my iPad, which is right over here. So Notability is what I use to keep track of all of my lectures, my lecture notes, etc. while I'm at university. And I do have the companion app on my phone, but really I only use that around exam time when I want to study on the tube or while I'm traveling and I don't want to pull out my iPad or my laptop or something like that. But I do go into a lot of detail about this app in another video that I've made about what's on my iPad. I'll leave it linked somewhere up here and you guys can check that out if you're interested. Now, Quizlet is my flashcard app of choice. I just think it has a really good user interface. It's nice and colorful. So for example, last year when I was studying for my exams, I made all kinds of flashcard packs for the different subjects that I was studying. For example, this one is about all the drugs that were going to come up on my progress test 3. And then you can click flashcards and it tests you on all the different flashcards that you've made. You can click on them, go to the next one, etc. And this is very, very useful for me, again, when I'm traveling, when I'm on the tube and I want to do some light remembering or light refreshing of some of the content that's going to come up. And then the last app that I want to talk about for studying is called Scannable. If you've gone paperless, then you know that no matter how much you try, some of your professors and teachers will still give you handouts that are on paper. And the good thing about this is that you can just take your phone, scan whatever paper it is that you need, it automatically gets saved, and then you can send it to your phone or your iPad and insert it into whatever note-taking app you use, like Notability. It's just a very good app to continue to make me as paperless as possible. And yeah, it just helps me digitize all the handouts that I get. Okay, now let's talk about meal planning apps and exercise. Meal planning and exercise is something that is very important in my life. I do both on a very regular basis. And so I have a couple of apps that help me with those two things and that I think are very useful. So for meal planning, this is an absolute game changer. It's this app over here called Meal Lime. And what this app does is that it gives you a bunch of recipes that you can cook based on the preferences and dislikes that you give the app when you first open it. So you tell it, for example, I don't like tofu, I don't like, asparagus, Brussels sprouts, I don't like salmon, etc. And so it doesn't show you any recipes that involve those ingredients. And then once a week when you want to start your meal plan, you click on start your meal plan and you add a bunch of meals that you would want to cook in the coming week into your grocery list. And once you've added all the meals that you want to make over the week, you'll see that it produces for you a shopping list. So you go to the supermarket and you buy everything that you need for all of the meals that you're gonna cook that week. And this is just a very easy way in order to organize the different meals that you want to cook, in order to buy everything that you want to cook in the right amounts, etc. With this app, there's all these different things that I would have never thought of and I would have never cooked by myself. So that's really helped me improve the variety in what I eat. Now, talking about exercise, this app called Six Pack by this guy called Athlean X on YouTube. He's a fantastic resource for anything gym and exercise related. You should definitely check him out. This app is completely free, and basically when you log on, you click train, you click the day that you want to do, and it gives you all these different exercises to do. It takes about 10 minutes. It's really not that long. And this way, once a day, you can do this core exercise for 10 minutes. And I found that it really helps me get in shape before the summer, when I'm trying to get that summer bod, etc. Now moving on to photo editing apps. I don't really have that many. Basically, I'm trying to be as efficient as possible with this whole YouTube and Instagram thing. So for my thumbnails on YouTube and for my Instagram photos, I want to be able to just edit them quickly and efficiently and get them posted. So for thumbnails, my app of choice is Spark Post. You basically just input one of your photos and then you can quite easily add like different titles, different text, little icons and things like that. And it's just a quick and easy way to make thumbnails. So then for my Instagram for photo editing, if I want to go into a lot of detail with my editing and I want to change a whole bunch of things, then I use this app called Snapseed. It's a very powerful tool and it has all these tools, as you can see down here, in order to help edit your photo. But realistically, I don't spend that much time on my photos because I just want to get them posted and I want to put more content out there. So usually what I do is use VSCO. VSCO basically just has a bunch of pre-made filters that you can slap onto your photo and it basically edits your photo like that. All right, and the last set of apps that I want to talk about to round up this video are apps that are related to medicine and medical school. So over the summer, I decided to offload a bunch of apps on my phone in order to save space, which is why a lot of these, as you can see, I've had to download throughout this video. So Geeky Medics is an app that is very, very good for OSCEs, or the objective structured clinical exams that medical students have to do. And it also helps you with things like history taking, focused histories for different types of specialties or different types of patients. It walks you through what you should open with, what specific types of questions you should ask, etc. It's a very useful app that, again, I've talked about in more detail on my iPad video, which I'll link somewhere on screen. And then the last app that I want to talk about is C3D for anatomy. So this is an anatomy based app. It's basically a 3D human model that you can manipulate and add different organs and tissues to. It's a really, really good way to learn anatomy because it helps you visualize the human body in 3D. You can see where all the different structures are in relation to each other. And it's something that really helped me learn my anatomy in first year. Now, because I have an iPad, again, that is where I prefer to use this app because obviously the screen is much bigger. It's easier to manipulate and see everything. But I do have it on my phone in case I'm on the tube and I want to review something very quickly, or I'm in class and I don't have these for whatever reason. And then there's other apps that I use for medical school, but I don't think it's worth going through them in this video. But BMJ's Best Medical Practice and the BNF, very, very useful if you're a medical student. All right, and I think that's all the apps that I want to talk about for today for this What's on My iPhone video. This is definitely going to be a long and hard video to edit, especially with these two cameras. So please do leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and leave me a comment down below letting me know what you think of these apps or if you have any app recommendations for me. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos from me in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.